A very good evening and welcome to Eswatini TV's 8 p.m. news broadcast. My name is Nondobego Nzabgelogo. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. The Prime Minister says a government acknowledges that she cannot tackle sustainable socio-economic development in isolation without the views and inputs of a variety of the country's sectors. The Deputy Prime Minister today visited 2 neighborhood care points in the Shiselweni region. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs has officially launched the Eswatini Temvelo Awards and the Climate and Tourism Symposium. The news. The Prime Minister, Ambrose Dlamini, says as Cabinet and Government, they acknowledge that they cannot tackle sustainable socio-economic development in isolation without the views and inputs of a variety of the country's sectors, including the young who are the future of this kingdom. The Prime Minister was speaking during an engagement session between government and adolescent school-going youth, which had been organized by Junior Achievement.
The post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan that was launched by government last month speaks of leaving no one behind, including women, the disabled and the youth. It is for that reason that Junior Achievement Eswatini organized an economic recovery plan engagement forum for government and adolescents and youth. The cabinet team during the engagement session was led by Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini, who said His Majesty's government recognizes JA's agility and competence in bringing the concept of entrepreneurship to young people in schools and developing their appetite for enterprise with practical knowledge and practice of the intricacies of business.
As cabinet and government, we acknowledge that we cannot tackle sustainable socio-economic development in isolation without the views and inputs of a variety of our sectors, including the young who are the future of this kingdom. It is for this reason that the post-COVID-19 economic recovery strategy we launched last month was developed with the involvement of different role players, especially the private sector, which is earmarked to take the lead in advancing the economy. This is an aggressive economic recovery plan that will ensure that the youth and women are full participants and beneficiaries of its outcome.
UNFPA representative Margaret Twala Tembe says young people are too often excluded in decision-making to the detriment of youth themselves and future generations.
And even before the onset of the crisis, the social and economic integration of young people was an ongoing challenge. Now, unless urgent action is taken, young people are likely to suffer severe and long-lasting impacts from this pandemic.
Junior Achievement Board Chairperson Nokanya Kametse emphasized the importance of inculcating the culture of entrepreneurship mentality at a very early stage for children.
We urge the government, stakeholders, and communities to look at young people as an asset because they make more than half of the population of the country. They are our future. Government policies and actions must at all times protect the vulnerable people.
A lot of opinions and suggestions were brought forward by young people on issues of young people participating in business, education and training, vocational training and skills, and the impact of COVID-19 on education. Ministers of Commerce Mangoba Khumalo, of Education Lady Howard Mabuza, and of Youth Harry Sibulunga were part of the deliberations with the young people, and they took the recommendations and promised to work on them. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Sibusisongubane with Mbongwa Dube in Manzini.
The Deputy Prime Minister's office has visited 2 child care centers at Kamfishane in the Shiselweni region. Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says this outreach is part of the office's mandate, which motivates that the welfare of children across the nation is supported. The Deputy Prime Minister said this at Gokonde Care Center during the outreach.
The Deputy Prime Minister's office visited Gokonde Care Center and New Life Children's Home with the purpose to ensure that children are safe and that the care centers have the necessary support to care for the children successfully. The Deputy Prime Minister says the office is providing support and coordinating services to not only provide basic needs, but to teach and prevent child abuse and neglect.
Our mandate on children is very important. We take it very seriously. So we need to visit the halfway houses, we visit the children's homes so that we can have first-hand information on what is happening, so that when we formulate our policies and amend our laws, we should have proper information to do that. We also want to thank those who are keeping the children, because these are not their biological children. They risk, they spend their own resources, they commit and take over some responsibility that belongs to someone else who brought that child. So we need to commend them and thank them for taking that responsibility. But we also want to discourage those people who bring children and fail to parent them.
Founder and director of Gokonde Care Center, Gokonde Simelane, expressed her gratitude to the Deputy Prime Minister's office. She says she's short of words for the hampers that were presented to the care center, especially for the diapers, which have been a thorn in their finances. She also thanked the country stakeholders and the Shiselweni Forestry Company that had accompanied the Deputy Prime Minister's office for the food hampers and clothes that they donated to the care center. The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says the office is not done reaching out in the Shiselweni region, but they are also going to visit other care centers in the other regions of the country. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Sifiso Nxumalo, it's Muva Shongwe, Mfishane.
Young people in the country have pleaded with government to ease some of the requirements for them to register and start their own businesses. Speaking during an engagement forum with government, young people say despite that they account for more than half of the country's population, they face difficulties in registering and starting their own businesses because of the stringent requirements.
During the dialogue between government and adolescent young people, several concerns were raised by the youth, such as the difficulty young people have in starting their own businesses due to a number of reasons.
To strengthen their engagement in agriculture, as a country, we need the government to oversee items that can be produced by the youth of Eswatini. So we beg the government to do import substitution. So by import substitution, I mean that a lot of goods are imported into the country. But then if that chance can be given to the youth for them to at least start doing other things and offering the services to businesses in the country, it will be better.
The Minister of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs, Harris Bulunga, acknowledged the concerns raised by the young people.
It is just that some of the issues that have been raised need change of legislation. So it's a long process. Those are things that we are considering, but it's something that won't happen overnight. For example, the issue of procurement, youth having a certain stake in the procurement section where they'll have exclusive rights to providing certain services or goods.
The Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangoba Khumalo, says if anything that COVID-19 has taught the country is to do things urgently.
The post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan is aimed at really inviting Emaswati small businesses and in particular the youth to participate actively in the economy. And it was really heartwarming to hear the presenter speak about import substitution to speak about the export-driven economy and to also speak about the ease of doing business in terms of allowing young people in particular to enter into the business world.
The minister says the launch of the online company registration is one way in which government is easing the registration of companies for young people so that they can do it easily using computers. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Sibusiso Ngubane with Mbongwa Dube, Manzini.
The Minister for Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has officially launched the Eswatini Temvelo Climate and Tourism Symposium and Awards, which will be held on the 18th and 19th of November 2020. The minister says these initiatives are a demonstration of government's commitment to promote a clean and healthy environment.
The launch marks the start of the process, which includes regional symposia to be conducted in the 4 regions of the country, starting at the Lubombo region on the 19th of October, followed by the Shiselweni region on the 21st of October, then the Manjinga region on the 26th of October, then lastly the Hoho region on the 28th of October. This will be followed by a national symposium, which is aimed at creating awareness and recognizing communities and individuals that have demonstrated environmental stewardship and dedicating themselves, their talents and resources to the protection of the environment.
This will in turn unearth the challenges as well as the opportunities that exist within the diverse sectors during the COVID-19 era. It will further motivate the private sector to invest in environment and tourism activities, therefore mitigating the impact of the worldwide lockdown that has severely limited traveling, bringing devastating effects to the Kingdom of Eswatini's tourism industry.
Acting CEO at ENTC, Hlopsile Sikosana, says with these initiatives, they want to showcase the skills and talents eMaswati have.
We are expecting it to be a landmark, and we are expecting it to, for the first time, bring together the public sector, the civil sector, and the private sector into a synergy that have not been seen before. We wanted to showcase what eMaswati have and the talent that eMaswati harbors in terms of the people that do think of the environment and do take precaution in terms of doing their day-to-day business.
These initiatives promote the UN Sustainable Goal number 14, which promotes sustainable use of ecosystem, forest, combats desertification, and reverse land degradation. Reporting, I'm Lungilele Makakula with Muzimkonda at Mandenga.
The Minister for Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has high hopes that Manjinga, a tourist attraction and lodge at Mvembili, will not only attract international tourists, but that this ecotourism site will also draw the attention of domestic tourists. The minister was speaking during his tour of the lodge, which is still under construction.
Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs Moses Vilagati says the tourist attractions at Manjinga will play a huge role in promoting the beauty of Eswatini. Minister says it will further attract tourists to stay longer in the kingdom. The CEO of Eswatini Tourism Authority, Linda Nxumalo, says the place and its infrastructure resembles development of the first world status.
Sitimisele ke ndivunele hloniphekile namuhla ukuthi siba ka tourism sitatimisela nathi kubambisana nebaka environment nalo msebenzi kusesiwuphakamisa ubonakale emhlabeni wonke naseveni laseSwatini.
Timbisini constituency member of parliament Nelson Mamba says there are several tourist attractions nearby Manjinga which needs attention and security for them to start operating.
Kunalenye lapha eMathamo eceleni kwelidamu lokungilona lwandle lwakithi kaNgwane.
Project chairperson at Manjinga, Sheila Sibinzi, says over 3 million was spent on building the lodge. She says the place will play a significant and remarkable role in the country in reviving the economy, developing the community, as well as conserving nature. Reporting for Eswatini TV News is Pumaphi Msweli Mvembili.
UNICEF has handed over to the Ministry of Education 1,200 radio sets and 1,200 flash drives loaded with lessons which will benefit children who missed out on lessons that were broadcasted on radio and television. The items, valued at 700,000 Demalangeni, were received by Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Bertram Stewart, on behalf of the ministry.
The items will be benefited by 25 schools per region, 15 primary schools and 10 high schools, and 14 radios will be received by each school at primary and 9 radios at high schools. Therefore, the total number of schools to receive the gadget is 100. UNICEF representative Alice Akunga says UNICEF is providing support to the Ministry of Education to ensure that children are receiving education, which is their human right.
We are pleased to hand over 1,200 radios and 1,200 flash drives loaded with lessons which the children who do not have access to radios have missed. The audio lessons on the flash drives can be accessed through a port on the radio.
The Principal Secretary, Bertram Stewart, urges learners to use the gadgets effectively for their purpose.
So with what is happening today, this is very encouraging, not only to the Minister of Education, but to government as well. And also the children who would be, or the learners will be recipients of the gadgets that you have presented us today. Access to education is a basic right for all learners. So this is one of the ways that we want to make sure that we satisfy that right for the learners to have access to education.
This gesture by UNICEF aligns with UN Sustainable Goal number 4, which aims to ensure inclusive and quality education and also promote lifelong learning. Reporting, I'm Lungelele Makakula with Muzimkonda in Babane.
We will now take a look at the COVID-19 updates from the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health would like to inform the public of the status of COVID-19 in Eswatini. In a statement issued by the Minister for Health, Lizzie Ngosi, a total of 430 results were received today, of which 60 tested positive. The total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to date is 4,780. The statement shows that there are 782 active cases, 3,844 have recovered, 94 are deceased, and 60 have been registered for care. Looking at the cumulative confirmed COVID-19 cases by region, Manzini region has 2,175 cases, Hoho region has 1,866 cases, Shiseleni region has 396 cases, and the Lubombo region has 343 cases of coronavirus. We'll continue with the news. On Friday morning, Jimmy Hlophe was sworn in as senator. Senator Hlophe was sworn in by the Attorney General, Sifiso Khumalo.
Senator Jimmy Hlophe, who recently won the Senate seat during a race to fill the position, which was left vacant after the death of Senator Mike Temple, has been sworn in. Senator Hlophe was voted into the position by members of the House of Assembly.
I, Jameson Jimmy Mandla Hlophe. I, Jameson Jimmy Mandla Hlophe. Do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to King Mswati III, his heirs and successors, according to law, so help me God. Congratulations, Mr. Hlophe, for being elected into Senate.
Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini welcomed Senator Hlophe and wished him well as he assumed his new duties.
Ulilunga leliphelele ibonga lehloniphekile noma ufika nje sihambela banganyana kepha ungatikhobosi ungatingabadi.
Other senators welcomed and congratulated Hlophe. The senators urged Hlophe to hit the ground running. The senators say Senator Hlophe's appointment comes at a time as he is a seasoned politician who is not new in the country's politics.
Akusho ukuthi siphumule
Kambela amalunga endlu ngale insiqwa uNkulunkulu yena. Naye-ke uNkulunkulu akusho ukuthi bekade aphathe njengetimpunga. Bekade aphakela live yena wahlophe. Ngaba nje ngingameli kulibongela kuyibongela impunga nekusho ukuthi awu
sibonga kakhulu siyakwamukela Mabhengu mzala wethu siyathokoza nasikubona ngoba sesitawumunyathi.
Senator Hlophe is not new in parliament as he was Mahlangacha member of parliament. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, while visuals are sourced from parliament.
Far East Garments Managing Director Toki Howe says her factory will now be exporting personal protective wear to the United States of America as big markets have opened up in that country. Howe said this during an interview with Eswatini TV in Matapa.
On the 31st of August 2020, Far East Garments Managing Director Toki Howe was awarded with 2 certificates to export personal protective wear to the United States of America. Far East Garments Managing Director says, as a textile garment manufacturing company, this is a great achievement for them and the country as well, for the company to be recognized internationally because the country's economy will develop.
We are one of the companies, I think there is a total of about 3 companies that have been recognized. We are one of them. It's quite exciting for us to be working with the Americans. It is a very, very exciting news for us as a company, Far East, based in Eswatini. AGOA is now here and we are one of the companies. I think there is a total of about 3 companies that have been recognized. We are one of them. It's quite exciting for us to be working with the Americans.
Howe further revealed that this is the second country recognized them as the company by exporting wares. She says the company is also exporting wares to various retail shops in the Republic of South Africa, and they export wares for Jet stores, for Shini, Woolworths, Total Sports, and many others. Reporting, I'm Zoto Adlamene with Fortune Dlangamandla in Matsapa.
The Ministry of Agriculture Extension officers have been trained on how to use a mobile application to reach 2 extension officers. The extension officers are expected to also share the mobile application with farmers in their communities.
The mobile application, which will be used by extension officers in the Ministry of Agriculture, was developed by the Center for Coordination of Agricultural Research and Development for Southern Africa, CADESA. The ministry's research officer, Bongane Mvubu, says the mobile application will be used by the extension officers to reach out to more farmers in their regions, and it will link farmers with other SADC farmers.
Today, there's an mobile application that has been developed that we are going to brief or be briefing extension officers in the Department of Agriculture that needs to be taken to farmers. This application has got various uses. Once you download it in your phone, you can be able to access information in it, learn, read, and also it's up to you as a user of the application. You can even conduct a quiz online.
CADESA was established by SADC heads of state in the year 2010, and the organization was eventually launched in 2011. The CADESA headquarters is in the capital city of Botswana, Gaborone. One of the key objectives of the organization is to increase food production in the SADC region. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Manzini.
Let's take a look at our sports news. Eswatini Football Association Association President Adam Mthethwa says the football fraternity is in deep loss following the passing of coach Thabo Vilakazi. Mthethwa says Vilakazi has contributed immensely to the success of local football. Mthethwa revealed this during a memorial service held at the Mbabane Alliance Church in Mbabane.
Following the passing on of the talented local coach Thabo Vilakazi last week,
Vilagati family, sports fraternity, football family, and friends gathered at the Mbabane Alliance Church during a memorial service to celebrate the life of Vilagati. Family members, mostly his children, expressed the deep loss following the passing on their father. Speaking during the memorial, the Football Association President Adam Mtsetwa says the football fraternity is still in deep shock following the passing on of Vilagati.
Egameni le National Football Association, i-Premier League, kanye onke nalala amanye lang-7 ama-associations ebhola, kumaphephethe nakwamamaduna tonke tinhlobo silibandla lebhola sikhala.
Premier League of Eswatini chairman Peter Magagura spoke on behalf of friends where he described Vilagati as a coach who described his talent as a coach at an early age. Different representatives from all clubs he coached to different associations and from his workplaces, Eswatini Post and Telecommunications, also highlighted how much of a hard work Vilagati was. Pastor Reverend J.V. Mazibuko, who read in the book of 2 Timothy from verse 4, also expressed the big role played by Vilagati as a church member of the Alliance.
So they supported the Luma. Nikahab Lozana, have of Kumele. Mubasifisa Luma, Evangeli, Lala are involved corner of Kumele.
Fans of the big three, being Mbabane Swallows, Mbabane Highlanders, and Manzi Wanderers, also expressed their deep loss.
Ngathi kaSwallow bekamkhulu njengoba livelati ukuthi la siyakhona emaveni sithethe inkomishi letinengi sihamba naye.
Umsebenzi wakhe injabulo kithi uyilethile kakhulu kuMbabane Highlanders. Silahlekelwe nkoki side nemagama langakanani singawakhuluma.
Vilagati will be laid to rest this coming Saturday at his parental home in Nsenga. For Eswatini TV Sports, from Bisumsonera, Mbabane.
Eswatini professional golfer Jamie Pennington says the 3 months of lockdown without any sporting activities in the kingdom, where he could only train by himself in the house, boosted his performance ahead of his Sunshine tournament that is ongoing in the Republic of South Africa. Pennington was speaking during his session at the Sunshine Tour in South Africa.
Jamie Pennington recently joined the professional golf level. He's currently in the Republic of South Africa competing under the Sunshine Tour tournament as a second Leswati golfer in the tournament beside Nobuhle Dlamini. Pennington says the recent 3 months of personal training during the lockdown where sporting activities were suspended in the country due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic did boost his performance.
The Sunshine Tour has finally resumed. I've played 2 events, finished the second one yesterday, and I'm definitely playing a lot better. I improved in the second event, even though the conditions were very tough. It was very cold and windy on the first day, but I'm improving. Everything that I've worked on in lockdown has been starting to show with how I'm hitting the ball and my golf swing, so I'm now just waiting on the results to come. I had some strange things happen yesterday. My first hole of the day, I hit the flag with my second shot, and the ball landed once, hit the flag, and actually went into the water, which cost me a double bogey. And if it missed the hole just by a centimeter or so, it probably would have finished very close to the hole, and probably would have been a birdie. So these small things have been happening. I also had to call a penalty shot on myself yesterday, where as I addressed the ball, about to hit it, the ball just rolled about a centimeter. And even though I hit 4 shots on the hole, I had to call the penalty, which was 1 extra shot, resulting in a par and 5 instead of the 4 and the birdie. So these small things have been happening, which are strange, and you only get them during tournament golf, but it's really nice to be back playing.
One of the tournaments that Pennington competed in includes the Titleist Championships that is worth 600,000 emalangeni. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
We've come to the end of our bulletin, but before we wrap up, let's take a quick recap of the headlines. The Prime Minister says a government acknowledges that she cannot tackle sustainable socio-economic development in isolation without the views and inputs of a variety of the country's sectors. The Deputy Prime Minister today visited 2 neighborhood care points in the Shiselweni region. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs has officially launched the Eswatini Temvelo Awards and the Climate and Tourism Symposium. Eswatini, that is all the news we had for you tonight. Up next is the weather forecast. Good night and God bless.
It's me time. Time to love your skin with Bramley's range of scented tissue oils. Buy any 3 for just 50. Why pay more? Life's better with Pep.